You found a quiet corner of your mind, a shelf where all the broken things were piled. The stories told in whispers and in scars brought you here beneath these waiting stars. Not for a fix or just to soothe the ache, but for the chance that something new could break. So let the silence hold you like a seam where every thread of hope begins to gleam. This is the in-between. Welcome to the butterfly room, where healing's not an end, it is a tune. You learn to hum and gentle afternoons. Transformation blooms from a cocoon of questions. You'll be led to see the colors waiting in the thread. Welcome to the butterfly room. We'll hold the lens up to the hidden part, the dormant art, that's beating.
It's an amazing show, and I'm going to bring in the woman that has put together this amazing show, Miss Toya, and she's got some great content, and she's got some great things that are going on a regular basis. And of course, these butterflies are always turning into metamorphosis and everything like that. So we're looking forward to hearing this great conversation and all along those lines. And I did see the Dr. Diamond had popped in as well, so we're going to have a rich conversation and everything like that. I'm going to step aside and let you ladies have an amazing conversation and everything along those lines. But it ought to be a great conversation, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what folks have got to say and all along those lines. So it's all about you, Miss Toya. So I'm turning it over to you, and I know you're going to introduce these amazing ladies and this amazing conversation that you're going to have as well.
Good evening, Mark. Thank you for the warm welcome as always. Today we have a lesson from Madam Butterfly. We were able to slow her down so the educator of this group can give us some knowledge today. So we want to introduce you to Madam Butterfly and all the other hosts that are here today for episode 14, Our Lens.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well, enjoying this. Well, it's warm. It's just wonderful to be here again. Yes, you kind of slowed me down. You stopped me in my tracks today. I just want to share with you in my years of whatever, I'm just starting to realize that I've come to realization that more and more I'm not doing certain things. I'm no longer over explaining. I'm not overcompensating. I'm not over tolerating for others. I'm not going back and forth, seeking closure, responding to drama, or any of that other kind of stuff. So I'm gonna share with you. I'm gonna share with you what I've kind of come up with. A gem. Let's call it a gem. Let's call it Jade.
Yes, and right now we need to bring our other co-hosts in. So, Mark, you have to bring in who we have in the wins today. We have Dr. Diamond is here today, and Anika, our author and grief course.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. Aren't you guys ready for this lesson? We have a retired educator who's going to teach us something today.
Yes.
Hey, Dr. Diamond.
Hi, Dr. Diamond.
How are you?
Hello. How's everyone?
Good.
Yes, we got to get ready for that game. We pre-gaming before the NBA Finals game too. So we're going to make this simple, an hour, because everyone's ready. But, some of the wives don't watch the game. So anyone that's listening to the Butterfly Room, you don't necessarily have to sit there. You can walk away for a second and catch the playback if you miss it on halftime.
And so, if you like my house, so it's being recorded. So, we're going to catch it all.
Yeah, so we're gonna
So,
jump right in. We had to wait for you, and we're gonna be very expeditious today. So, Mark,
okay.
we're gonna get started so that everyone can meet Madam Butterfly and she can show us this lesson because I'm really to see what her teaching style is like. So, thank you for blessing us this
Yes,
evening.
And I come with a disclaimer. I taught early childhood. Okay. So it's going to be very simple, very easy. Don't break it down. Mark, you have some
I like-
slides for me? Okay. I said it was a gym. So we are no longer justifying. We're no longer arguing. We're no longer defending or explaining. This reminded me of a song we used to sing in church. It was called I've Decided. And there was a phrase or in the chorus, and you sing it over and over again. I've decided, I've decided, I've decided, I've decided to make Jesus my choice. Well, you know, you make a decision, and that's it.
Yes.
Okay. Next slide. Let's look at the word justifying. You made the decision. That's it. Look at the definition of justification. And you see on that picture, that's a chrysalis. And that's the chrysalis after it's after the caterpillar has just turned, we call it metamorphosis into a chrysalis. And you can't see it very well, but it's gorgeous. It's green like jade. It actually looks, so my husband gave me a gem, and it looks like a piece of fresh jade with gold dots around the top. And when you raise monarch butterflies, you look at the caterpillar, and the caterpillar is black, white, and yellow. Well, the yellow turns into those gold dots. And if you can, I will show you one later on. Those gold dots, as he's turning and they're twisting, and it looks so painful, some of the things that we go through as women or as people in general, you can actually see the dots turning and going to the top and making those dots, the yellow, making those dots around the top. And when it's finished, you're standing there with your mouth wide open and you see this beautiful piece of gem hanging there. And
amazing.
And it happens. There's no question. It just happens. There's no question about it. It happens. That means there's no justification. This is it. End of story. Next slide. So it happened. You can't tell me it didn't happen. You can't ask me why it happened.
Right.
It happened. We're not going to go back and forth. Who made it happen? We're not going to go back and forth whether it needed to happen. This is a part of what goes on. This is part of the steps in nature. I like this picture. This occurred in my classroom. And this is what gives me joy about using the monarchs in my classroom to teach with children. Some of the things that, one of the glorious things that happens when you use monarchs in the classroom is that you give a child the opportunity to hold something that is delicate in their hands. And no one can argue with the fact that this is something that is so precious and so delicate that they can hold it in their hands. They learn not to close their hands, which will kill it. They learn that this is something precious, to be treasured, to be protected. So there's no questioning it. There's no argument about its existence. It exists, and therefore it's reverent. And so it's appreciated. And that's the end of that story. Next slide. Defending. Because you don't have to justify it, because there's no argument about the decision that is made, you don't have to defend it. I like to think about this part of Jade is that this is the part of your decision, and this is the part that protects you. When you get to a situation and you've made a decision, hopefully you've made it in the sense that this is self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And you've made it with you in mind. So many times we make a decision and then someone questions why you make that decision. If you've made that decision for you, then that's it. You don't defend it, and no one has the right to question it. So it's you don't defend it. I've seen, and I've been in the situation where you second guess yourself. You make a decision. A lot of times when you are when you are a caregiver, and I've been a caregiver, I'm an only child, so in the sense of caring for my mother, and another family member has questioned the decision that I've made. No, I remember saying, but it's my mother. I'm here. I'm the one that's closest to it, and I made the decision. And at one point, my mother said, they don't care for me. You do. Don't defend it. You know, you're right here with me every day. You're coming here. You're changing me. You're feeding me. Don't defend it. And it resonated with me. So when you make a decision and it's for your best interest, don't defend it. Right. No one's standing in your shoes. No one's living your life. That's you. Stand by it. And 9 times out of 10, once you defend it, that gives other people the power. So no, don't defend it. You know you the best.
Mm-hmm. Next
slide. Last of all, it's your decision. Don't explain it. I like this last picture, and you probably can't see it, but this is a butterfly eclosing, and we call it eclosing. That's the process of coming out of the chrysalis, and hopefully I can show you a better one. That first green picture of the chrysalis, it's green, it's beautiful, but as it ages, and it takes about 5 days, depending on the environment. If it's warmer, it'll happen faster, but you can see the transformation of the butterfly inside. You'll see that turn from green to black. You can see the wings form inside. Clearly, the outside becomes transparent, and you can see the black, the orange wings become apparent. It becomes translucent, and at one point, it'll start to ooze out from the bottom. And the wings are totally wet. And I'm not sure, I can't recall the fluid that pumps to, but it'll start pumping, almost like the blood pumps through our veins, pumping, and it'll just come out almost like giving birth.
Yes, the way it looks all hard. Yes, and you can see it, and it's like,
right
I don't want to make a reference to Aliens, but remember Aliens when they were coming out in this thing, kind of like.
Yes, but it's amazing, and it'll keep pumping until you'll see the wings come out. There's no explanation for that. So you don't explain everything that has happened. Right. It happens. There is no explanation. So what happens? You don't explain it. This we refer to things as things that happen in the course of time. It's Mother Nature, it's God's will, and we don't explain those things. Those are the things that happen. So people want to challenge you. well, why did you do that? Why did you make that decision? No. Don't let them challenge it. Don't explain it. When you answer all these questions, justifying, arguing, defending, explaining, those allow people to live in your head, like people say, rent free, to cause distractions in what you want to do in your process and going forward, and you having your defenses around you and protecting you. And that's a story for another day. But this is a whole defense mechanism to keep you strong. And when you put this on, it's amazing how it sounds like it's so simple and easy. But when you adopt this, and it's one of those things where once you adopt it, it's how you treat others or expect others to treat you. So if you don't want people to jade you, then you don't jade others, and therefore you kind of don't get distracted. So if stuff is going on around you and people say, well, how's she going to react to that? Well, I'm not going to react to it because it's not that important to me. I don't care about your decisions unless you want me to care about your decision, unless you pull me into it. And I'm not going to get pulled into craziness. If you need your help, I can't help you unless I'm straight as well. Mm-hmm. So it does, it gives you a different kind of armor. Mm-hmm. A different kind of armor.
Thank you, Madam Butterfly, for this lesson. Was well waited for. And I think that with everything going on in life, we really need to have some type of acronyms. I know my thing is on the page is be still and know. And for anyone as a believer, non-believer, these are just basic principles. So I thank you for this lesson today. In reference to that, if you want to go into, that was a nice little thing that you shared.
Upon my retirement, I had a story. In our district, we had a very good program, an intervention program for children who were diagnosed for 2-3-year-olds program who were diagnosed with either on the spectrum or some early intervention program. And it started with 2- and 3-year-olds. And they were not necessarily, they were probably taken out of their district schools because there were 4 elementary schools in our district. So when they aged out of this program, they had to go back to their district school. And the child study team were all involved, and then they were introduced back into their district school. So I had a set of twins that were going to come back into my classroom. And the child study team came around and they were going to introduce the parents to my classroom. So they came in, and my classroom assistant was Italian and myself. And the parents were not like me, let's put it that way. And so the child study team director, she came in and she was going to introduce. So I'm doing something, cleaning up. It was between the classes. They were 2 half-day sessions. And so they knew the teacher's name was Miss Walker and the other teacher's name was Miss Ockman. And so she walks in and she says, and Miss Walker, oh, Miss Walker's here, Miss Ockman's here. And she immediately, and that's all she said. And so the parent walked over to Miss Ockman, the assistant. She said, oh, Miss Walker. And I'm by the sink. I turned around and I said, hi, I'm Miss Walker. And the look on her face was very different because she didn't expect it to be me. And so I said, okay, I know what I'm up against. And so the year proceeded. One was deep on the spectrum and one was slightly on the spectrum. But to me, there were 2 children in my classroom, and I proceeded. By the spring of the year, I had both of them doing programs that their parents didn't expect them to do. At the end of the year, I always had a closing program because we were required to have our classes do an on-stage program. Theirs was an end of the year program where I didn't believe in graduations, but we did an end of the year program. I had one twin open the program and one twin close the program, and both of them were reading, which was not necessarily done in the other elementary schools. I looked out into the audience, and the mother and the aunt and the father were blubbering. Had to give them a box of tissues. And the mother said at the end of the program, she said, I knew one son would be probably okay, but the other son I didn't know. I thought we were going to have to like hand carry him the rest of the year. Thank you so very much. And she presented me with this poem. And to this day, that parent keeps in touch with me. The boys are in high school.
Nice.
When they got ready to go from junior high to high school, she wrote me, she says, I don't know what to do. She said, the one son wanted to go to the mainstream high school. The other son wanted to go to the charter school. I said, why? She said, well, the son who was deep on the spectrum wanted to go to the mainstream, and she was fearful. But he was the one who had made friends with everyone in the middle school and was fine. The other one was a little cocky and he wanted to get away from everybody.
Thank you for that, because, as we get to go into the next part, that's really a great parallel to what this is, our lens, right? Our lens, you just gave us a lesson. From that lesson, you explained what Jade means. And then you also ended with how your journey of watching these children bloom. And this particular closing of that was 2 kids, twins, right? But the lens of what we look at kind of is what we're talking about. We really don't know what's going on, but you were someone, as the educator, you saw the optimism in what was going on and you saw them bloom. And that was your closing. They provided you with that poem. So thank you so much. And I know we try to get ready for this game. So thank you. So any comments, ladies, before we go into the next segment? Thank you so much, Madam Butterfly.
Are we going to make it?
Yes. Dr. Diamond, before we go into the other part, because we got through the education and now we want to do some applied learning of that. So before I go into that, does anyone have any comments about the Jade before we go into the next segment?
Well, my comment is I actually like that acronym. It's very effective. It's a good way to, transition yourself away from shifting your power, allowing your power to be taken from you, and you shift it back to yourself. So I think that's a good acronym.
Thank you, Dr. Diamond. We were waiting for you today. So thank you for that, because we have a clip that we're going to watch. And I know that we're going to apply Jade to this clip. So we have our grief coach out here tonight. Hi, Anika.
How are you? And
yes.
Hi, Dr. Diamond. How are you? I do agree with Dr. Diamond. It was amazing. The acronym, I enjoyed it. I actually wrote it down, took notes, and I will be applying it as well.
Thank you. Mission accomplished. Because today when I write my stories, I sit back and I think, as I always say, group leader, but I don't really want to continue to say that. But the whole point here is this platform, we're providing you with information. Last week on the couch, we talked about men and mental health. Now we're in the month of June. So we are basically, if anyone who listened to the show, please catch that playback, because again, we're going to be hitting that in next Saturday at 11 a.m. But today we wanted to talk about what Jade is. And as you know, we have an educator that's part of this group. So she's going to provide us with some lessons, as well as we're going to have guests. But today we want to discuss how your vision matters to survive. So what Dr. Diamond just explained, acronyms. That's something that we use, tools, as well as prayer and meditation. And guess what? We want to work on how do we accept disappointments in life and everything. So now, Mark, we have this clip, because I know we're on borrowed time. Can you have this clip? And I want you guys to think about the new acronym. And we're going to answer that. But Dr. Diamond, I would love for you to go first as our professional on the call. Can you shoot it, Mark, please? Thank you very much. Mark, what you doing back there?
He multitasks. So.
I know. Yeah. So that's basically, we have a clip here. We're going to go through the clip and, just going through everything, because as Dr. Diamond has said, as well as Madam Butterfly, in life, there's different situations. So right now, we want to be very detailed in what our approach is. We have a lot of listeners, and basically perception is very important. And right now, as Gene Geronimo said on the last show with us, was self-preservation. So this is basically a self-preservation tool. And once we watch the clip, we're going to go through it and we're going to respond to it, because I think that sometimes with applied learning, I just know from experience with folks, they have to have something that's simple, right, Dr. Diamond? Something simple to grasp.
Yeah, I agree.
Hold on one second. I did find the clip and everything, so I believe this is the clip you're looking for. So let's see if we can check it out and see what folks have got to say.
For those in a long season of unwanted singleness, how do you trust God's timing while actively preparing yourself to be the kind of spouse someone godly will want?
Oh man, that's heavy. Okay. It's not necessarily that you trust God's timing by waiting. You align your hopes and your desires and your will with God. Sounds easier said than done. When we dwell in a private place, in a secret place with God, He transforms us. When we don't, we will not be transformed. You have to ask yourself, instead of God, when? God, am I becoming the person who can sustain and steward this godly spouse that you've sent to me? Because when I hear unwanted singleness, I'm always looking for a void that a person is looking to fill. That can look like, I don't have the inner stability without a person. God is not going to give you a person then, because God is your stability and you're looking for a stabilizer. That can look like, I want someone who's consistent. Yeah, that's cool. But when they're not consistent, what happens internally? Do you feel insecure? Because God is not going to give you a person until He goes in and transforms you. It really needs to get to a place to where in our singleness, we dwell in a place where God can come in and show us our patterns. Because a lot of times people sabotage the godly person that God sends to them because they haven't identified those patterns. You have fears that still cause you to self-sabotage. And until I have formed an identity of wholeness, you will always reject or sabotage or abuse the person who comes in, or you'll try to merge your identity to somebody. Sometimes when we're not whole, we seek other people for our identities. So I need to be asking God, am I whole right now? If I'm not, Lord, show me where I'm broken. Show me where I'm incomplete. Because we'll go out trying to choose somebody, and we haven't even chosen ourselves. So in that time of waiting, and also waiting means that I have to have faith in God to do what He does. A lot of times we don't have faith in God, which is the reason why we keep on pushing Him. God knows that in 2 years from now, when I give you this person, you're going to destroy the marriage. So I'm not going to give them to you right now. But I have 2 years of causing you and creating something in you that causes you to evolve into this woman who stewards this marriage well. So instead of God, when? God, show me who I am becoming, what I need to become. And please expose and reveal the things that are in me that are not of you. And that'll help you in your singleness.
Clap it up, clap it up.
Yeah.
Deep.
It's deep. It's something that I always talk about with all of my clients that I work with, and even everyday people that I talk to. None of us are perfect. And we tend to, our traumas and our experiences with others is what we carry. When we are hurt, we are broken. And I have to say, in the Black community, it's very hard, or we haven't learned how to repair, because no one is really telling us how to repair. But now we're getting to spaces where we're learning it, because we're seeking out people that we know that can be positive in our life. And that's a big key to how you're going to move forward, because if you have negativity, you will stay in that area. So I like the fact what she said. I wrote down broken also before she even said it, because when there is brokenness, yes, you will sabotage your relationship. You will harm that person mentally, physically at times. So it just depends on how broken you are and what you're bringing to the table. You know, a lot of the times when you go and you meet a person, the conversation may be, what do you bring into this relationship, right? But are they telling the truth? You're not going to sit there and say, well, I'm going to bring all of my brokenness to the table and I want to see how you're going to fix me. You're not going to say that. You're going to have a mask on. And you're going to say, oh, this is the person I'm looking for, this, that, and the other. You get in this relationship, all of a sudden you're controlling now. Now you want to control what he is doing because you have experienced someone cheating on you. And that's just a simple example, right? Instead of healing from the cheating, you bring it into your new relationship. And this is where I talk about bags. Okay. I like how Iyanla Vanzant always used the bricks, and you put them in your bag and you're carrying these bricks. That's what you're doing. You're dragging all of these bricks, and then you got the audacity to tell that person to carry it for you. And then you get mad because they don't want to go with you. I'm not going with you. I didn't bring this in your life. So why do I have to carry it? So, you know, how that person who is healed would need to fight back in that way or remove themselves, because you have to know that is not the person for you, because eventually they will bring you down. They will. So a healing journey is important. That is finding out what self is. What is that? What does that mean? Who am I? That is a question I always open with. Can you tell me who you are? Well, usually it stumbles people because they don't know who they are. All they know is the attachment to the brokenness instead of the healing part. So what I will say to anyone that's listening to this show today, and what we learned about Jade, is that you actually need to justify why you're in that place. You do. Then that arguing, you may even have to argue with yourself to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And then talk about to yourself, why am I defending the negativity versus the positivity? Okay. And then lastly, explain to yourself the brokenness. How did you get there? How do you think you got there? So that's how I think you would use Jade in that way to help yourself towards healing. So that's what my cap would be for this. Before you go into any marriage or relationship, these are the acronyms you need to go through before moving into somebody else's life.
Thank you. And that's basically what I had to share. But now we have our butterfly room explanation of that. And as a cycle breaker and a person who has come through things, sometimes when a person is quiet, what it is we're not quiet. We're focusing on our purpose. You have to think, as we stated, we grow up, we have families, but then when we become a single person again, and it's just not that. So it was more so the reason why I chose that clip. It could be single, meaning you're not a caregiver, meaning that you're by yourself. It does not have to be romantic. I am in singleness. However, I have been working on myself. So sometimes the quiet is deciding what your purpose is. So anyone that's listening, you are a parent, you are a wife, you are an educator, as we said. Here we have someone who's grieving a loss. So everyone here has been through some changes. So what we're doing is giving you something that you can address your self-preservation and become. That's what the butterfly room is about, morphing. And Madam Butterfly, and because you provided this lesson, what would you say with Dr. Diamond?
She's right. Before you have to heal yourself before you can you have to heal yourself, understand your singleness before you can get into a relationship. You have to be able to say to that person, I am not your healer. And that is essential, because so many times when you meet another single person, they may need to be healed, and they need to if that's the case, they need to understand that you are not their healer. You are not there to heal. You may be, that may be your role. And if that's the case, you need to understand that is your role. And if you are their healer, you need to understand that's your role. You heal them, and then you walk away. You are not in there for a relationship. You are there to heal them. And so many people don't understand that. And that's why they get to what they call a relationship, and it doesn't work. It wasn't supposed to work. You were there to heal them. That was your purpose for that. A relationship is somewhere else for you.
Thank you for sharing that, because sometimes we're one second, Mark. Sometimes we are misunderstood with that, because when you speak up and they're like, what are you doing? Because I see something. And sometimes you don't want someone to know everything that you know. You take it in, because I was listening to R.C. Blake's. I shared something this week. You know, we share every day in the Butterfly Room a video. And the one that we're going to talk about, because we look like we're on time, is about intention or attention. So that's the next thing we're going to talk about, because thinking about Jade, is a person really into me, or just at the attention? And what we need to understand as mature folks, my lens is important, but right now I need grace with looking at, because guess what? I get up every day. You know what your goals is: self-preservation, work, and everything else is a choice. So I'm going to pause on that. Mark, we're going to hear what Anika has to say. We're going to go to you so we can keep it moving for this game. All right.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. I just want to say that the Jade acronyms, as far as broken and being in a relationship, you have to know who you are, and before you get into a relationship, thank you. Sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. If you're broken, my advice is to take the time out to learn yourself and get to know where you're broken at and fix yourself. I do agree with that. Fix yourself, because you can't be into a healthy relationship if you're broken. You just can't be into a healthy relationship. It's no other way to say it.
Yes, and even know that you're a future guest on the show, and also she wrote a book about that. And if you have anything, you know, you want to share before, you know, a prequel for when you come to see us, you know, an excerpt, if you care, if you will, from your manuscript.
Narcissist, no.
You know, go ahead. No, that's what came to your mind.
I speak highly about narcissists. This is a big thing as far as like Jade when it comes to narcissism. Narcissists, women or men, because they're in both. Women narcissists as well as men narcissists. And it's becoming so popular now because of COVID. Once COVID hit, you saw the mental illness, the mental health, narcissists. People never heard of this word before then, but now it's like prone. We study more as far as women. That's the way I feel. We study more and learn more now than we've ever done. And narcissism seems to be the key word for the problems that men.
The gaslighting is all intertwined.
The gaslighting,
that's a whole nother conversation. But yes.
Right. So I feel like if you learn yourself, I don't care who you are, a narcissist, a cheater, a gaslighter, all that stuff, everything you could think of, even the guy that I was listening to today on the
R.C. Blake's. Yep, that's the next homework. Yeah.
Right. Oh, he was amazing. Amazing. I love listening to him. I actually was on my second segment listening to him. But when you learn yourself, I think that you can avoid 90% of that stuff. You have to know who you are and what you want in life. If you go through things in life, take heed to those things. Don't neglect it and ignore it like it's nothing, because you'll keep getting a repeat of a relationship, a repeated offender of a relationship. But if you listen to yourself and know yourself and learn yourself and know those key things and start seeing, okay, well, I've seen this before.
The patterns.
Right. I've seen this before.
Red flags.
Attention. Right. Let me pay attention here. I think that with that, you'll be all right. You'll know that I can't fool with you because this is what I've seen before. Pay attention, accept it, and know that you've seen it before and accept what you've seen.
Yes, thank you. Because Anika will be visiting the Butterfly Room in August, so she will be unfolding her book.
Yes.
So we will see about her, and there's going to be some links coming out. So actually, Anika, send me something so I can start your promo early, so folks can
Okay.
get the book, because we're going
I
to be
will.
having this, some book clubs and things. So that's
Okay,
all.
great. I
Thank
will.
you, Mark. I'm sorry that you're the only man on here today. I invited
No problem.
Geronimo. He's busy.
A tiger will reveal its stripes, and that's where I was going to go with Jade and everything along those lines. Because even if you are going through some hard times or some family hard times and things along those lines, people will sometimes reveal their stripes to use one of the um, Madam Butterfly's letters and everything, which is the A and the D, which is argument and defense and everything like that. Because one of the things that I've recognized is that I think I mentioned to you earlier, and I don't think these other ladies know, but I have a aunt that is in her, sounds like in her last days and everything along those lines. But I was sharing that with a supposed friend and everything along those lines. So if they are sitting there trying to hit you up for a loan when they know that you're in a period of mourning, that lets you know that they are definitely not the person for you and everything along those lines, because they're sitting there more concerned about themselves and what your own emotions might be and everything like that. So that happened earlier today and everything along those lines and everything. So that's where I was going with that whole kind of concept of Jade and how it can impact us and everything like that. Because like I said, it's all in God's time. So who knows, my Aunt Vaughn may wind up being here longer than we're thinking. But I do know that the family is preparing for the end times, because there might even be hospice care involved in all along those lines and everything like that. But I do know that that's the whole notion of recognizing those tiger stripes, that people are showing who they truly are. And just on a quick side note on that space, it can also be part of the grieving process, because we also don't know the ways that people react. Because I know that one of my cousins, because this particular aunt has had 5 girls and 1 boy, and one of the girls, when they called her, she was basically like, "Thanks for letting me know," and everything like that. And I think that caught her sister off guard and everything like that, because she was expecting her to be having a more emotional kind of connection and everything like that. But it was that notion of everybody reacts in different ways and everything like that. So I think that they had to understand that, and that's what my mom was even sharing as well, that everybody reacts differently. So I'm sure that she is mourning in her own way, but that did catch her sister off guard, because I think she was expecting her to be more emotionally connected.
Yes, thank you so much, Mark. And I know that now this is just a tease, and just want the listeners to know that periodically Madam Butterfly is going to be bringing us a concept. And what I thought was good, because she's actually an educator who grew the butterfly. So when she explained the process, it can hurt. So every day we're sharing information, and I'm thanking everyone who's sharing some song. Please continue to share with me, because this is a journey for everyone. As you know, we're all here. We're dedicated. Every single person, co-host on here, has been on a healing journey. So at this point, we are just trying to share that with the world, because as you know, we, as stated before, it's in reference to the Great Depression, folks are not happy. There's a lot of things going on right now. Just to listening to some relief in my financial planning. There's some guy named Kwong. There's a deadline with the IRS for June the 10th for people who they're going to request an abatement stuff. So look into that. There's a deadline. I'll have more information I'm going to share on the page. But anyone that had any penalties during this in 2020 to 2023. So these are things, because it was a disaster, a natural disaster. So anything, I always try to give, knowledge is power, because that can cause a person to have some senses of jaded. Because with men or anyone who's going through some financial trouble, that can make them feel a certain type of way. So I always say, don't assume, because we know what the letters of assume means. Just basically work on your healing. And I thank everyone today for coming on, because we want to stay on point. So we're going to be quick with you guys. So anyone listening to the playback, just take that in, food for thought. And Madam Butterfly, in reference to this, are we going to come with a part 2 of this Jade session, or what we're going to do? What you have in the future for us that you might want to expand upon?
There's always something in future. If you know anything about monarch butterflies, they were prolific. They were in decline. They came back somewhat because of the citizen scientists, humans helping them. They are now in decline again.
So
But now
endangered or
I
no? Not
learned
endangered though.
they're not on the endangered list yet. They're close. However, we've got some new scientific ingenuity that's helping to track them. I learned about it about 2 weeks ago. That's very interesting. And it just shows how if we work together, we will survive.
Thank you. I like that parallel because they say Dr. Diamond loves her history. History repeats itself. So with anything, a story, we're in 2026, but some of the stories right there, they can go back and forth because we know we have a lot of folks that like history, but we ain't going to keep y'all because it's NBA Finals, Game 2. The East Coast is happy. So I think we're going to do our parting words. We always end with a song. Next week, Dr. Diamond, check us out. Do you know what we're talking about in next week, or you're not sure yet?
I haven't looked at anything yet, but I will over the weekend. I like to do the awarenesses, so I'm going to do that. Mark, you can also reach out to the minister, see if he's available. If he is, that'll be awesome. What I am thinking about is coming on a little bit early that day because I do have some other stuff going on. So if we can get on maybe at 10, that'll be cool.
Okay, but let us know. This is what this is.
Yeah,
this
I
is
don't want to skip the show at all. And I love, again, the awarenesses. It's very important. Yes, Anika.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but listen, Wednesday is my last day of work. Right? So I will be running time.
Congratulations.
Mark, I am ready for you.
Okay.
I will only work every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until July 31st, and then I'm completely done.
Okay.
So I am Dr. Diamond. I will be on.
Thank you.
I work 7 days a week right now, but
July. But then
31st,
you're gonna be chilling. You're gonna be picking and choosing in retirement, girlfriend.
No, I'm gonna be a life. I'm gonna be a life in a group.
You know what I mean? You get to make your own schedule. You're not like
honey, and my podcast. So Mark, get ready for me.
No problem.
And so this is what I would like everyone, please. So we want to have a posting of all our shows in this group.
Yes.
So that's what we need to do. We need to get our everything together because we are family. And I think that now we definitely bounce off of each other. So for anyone listening, we are just an example of life and how, if you know where your lens is, this is where you're going to be. You know what? You don't let your life, you are not a product of what you've been through. Sometimes, they say hurt people, but guess what? Right now we were working on dealing with everything that we have to learn so that we can repair our lives and prepare for retirement, like Anika and Madam Butterfly, so that we can do everything that we want to do. But we're going to do these closing words. So we're going to start with the man. I'm sorry, Mark, you're the low person on the totem pole today. I'm sorry. You got to get your friend to come into the show. So what parting words did you have for us? Are you a Knicks fan or you just, what are you doing?
Well, my
you
team,
happy about the Knicks or you with San Antonio?
No, I'm not either one of those teams, but I'm actually looking for a good series. I actually got turned into another sports fan of another sport altogether and everything like that. And our team actually tied the series up yesterday because I was never really much into hockey, but became a hockey fan because my Hurricanes are doing well and they actually were.
I like to be in person for that. I'm sorry. I want to see all of the puck going across and, breaking the glass. No, I'll go in person.
You want to be in person, but you don't want to see the pucks flying. Been there, done that.
Okay. I just want to be fighting up in there. I just want to see.
Oh yeah,
I love sports in person.
Yeah, they get some fighting up in there, and I can proudly say that the Canes have at least two brothers that are on the team, so there's a little bit of flavor on the team. It's not strictly a Russian or a northern kind of team and everything like that, because actually one of the brothers is known for his defense work and everything like that. But I will be looking for a good game. But like I said, they even up the series. Now they got to head to Vegas and everything like that. So I wish them luck, the Carolina Hurricanes, as they get ready to go out, and hopefully they can make this a victorious series for the Canes and everything like that. And of course, people are getting excited about the college sports that get ready to start as well, because the football's getting ready to start, and a lot of people are excited about.
Oh, I can't wait! I'm a football junkie. That is my favorite sport, because basketball, I like it, but it's so many games. So I'm sorry when the playoffs come, But I like boxing now. All right, let's work our way around. Anika.
Yes, ma'am.
Your parting words for the day.
So I want to say this. Madam Butterfly, I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of you, hearing from you. Dr. Diamond, I'm looking forward to getting back on your podcast and spending more time with you and Miss Toya.
Yes.
And Mark, I'm looking forward to speaking to you to get my podcast started. You know how we already discussed. As far as relationships, focus on yourself, learn yourself, heal yourself, and just be strong in it. That's it. That's it. Just
thank you.
stand on all 10. That's it. If you know that you're healing yourself and you know that you're not going to accept certain things, don't argue, don't justify, be you, be yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. And for our educator for the evening, because I know I'm going to end with Dr. Diamond, because she's going to give us something else. But for you as the educator, thank you so much. Anything else that you want to add on to this, Jay? What are your parting words for you unfolding our first official lesson?
1, trust the process. It works. 2, don't make the same mistakes I made. Make new ones if you have to. And pick your own team. I like hockey. I'm with you, Mark.
Yep.
And you know what? Enjoy life.
Yes.
You only get it one day at a time. Make it count. Who said it? Don't count the days.
Yes. Make the days count.
Days count.
Yeah, we know what that is.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I agree with all of that.
Dr. Diamond.
Yeah, I agree with everyone on this panel. Madam Butterfly, I learned something myself with Jade, so I am going to promote this and utilize this with those that I come across in my therapy world, because it's very important that people do figure out what is it that may be holding them back from their growth. I like the fact that we talk about when people come into your life, that person may not be in your life for that moment, only for that moment. So that's the season. Whatever season they're there for. They're there to show up for that season and to walk out the door. And you may be on that same journey, that you're in that person's life for the season, not for the rest of their life. So I agree with what Madam Butterfly said about that as well. So we need to know the differences, though. Because if you're thinking you're supposed to be there for the long haul and you create these relationships, then guess what gets ready to come out? Everything you purge that's negative, that you have held on to, and now that person is enduring something that they shouldn't be. But also that person has to realize too, hey, I'm not here. I'm only here for the season. That could be to help the person to get to their healing journey. So I agree with that 100%. And what I would like everyone to understand is that you're not selfish by focusing on yourself. You have to do that in order to heal. You have to put up boundaries in order to heal. If a person says to you, what's wrong with you? Why you don't want to talk? This is not the time for me to talk at this moment. I'm hoping you can understand that. And we don't owe anyone really an explanation about why we want to heal ourselves. So because it's something we need to do. And that's the problem. We give so much of ourselves that we are draining ourselves for other people. So then you don't even know when to heal your own self because you're so drained. You just gave away everything you have. So I just say, learn to love yourself. Sit in your power. Do not let your power shift around for other people to make them feel better. If you set certain boundaries for yourself, follow through. 10 toes down. Hold it down. Because guess what? If they're there for you, they will wait.
Yes.
If they are not, get the step in and tell them kick rocks.
That's what we used to say in the hood. Yeah.
All right. And that
Yep.
is my
Yep.
takeaway. And I hope to see you all on the couch
Yes.
next week, where we will be talking more. Again, I will talk about whatever my self-awareness is, or the awareness is for the month. But I'm hoping that helps someone today too, to understand that love thyself before you love someone else. And
That's it.
Thank you so much, ladies. And my parting words is just to say thank you, because at this point, this has been something that I've been trying to birth for years. I've always was artistic, and I saw that Michael Jackson movie, and now I understand him a little bit more. I recommend that for anyone. I went and I dated myself. I went to the movies by myself, got a pedicure, and sometimes we have to date ourselves. So thank you, Dr. Diamond. And now that I'm a boy mom who has a 25-year-old, what do I do with myself? So this is what I've been doing. So I may be a little misunderstood, but right now, this is what I did when I was in my happy place. I worked my regular job, and I worked part-time providing this type of service group and helping folks. And now there was a void in my life. That was the only void that was missing, me healing. So what I'm doing now is providing something for free. Instead of a copay or something, we are a movement every week. So you now hear Friday at 8. The following week, and then we're going to put Anika into there. We're going to have grief counseling.
Yeah.
So what we're doing now, we're planning an in-person event. I have the venue.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit delayed with the conference because the hotel is closing, as you know, the one that I wanted to use in our area. So now I have to go back to the drawing board, but I'm not going to fret, no, because right now that means we're just going to have more in-persons. We're okay.
Yes.
So just be looking on the lookout for us, and thank you. We're going to close as we normally do. Just listen. Every day there's a message of the day, song of the day. So now we have a song that goes with the word J. So guess what, Mark? Take us out of here. All right, Knicks. Make the East Coast proud. Ta-ta. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yay. Night.
Night.
Going out with the classic song that we usually go out with and everything like that, and get all song out of here.
No. We got our new song, the one I sent you. You don't have
I got you. That's at the bottom. Hold on.
That's it. We're only doing one song today. We're doing our closeout song because we want everybody to go watch this game. For the ladies, we let you pregame if you know your husband. The ladies, we get.
I used to write paragraphs, trying to be understood.
That's it. What happened?
It just,
I used to write paragraphs, trying to be understood. Now I let silence speak when my heart knows it's good. I gave too many reasons to people who already chose a version of my story that only they could control. I used to lose my sleep trying to clear my name, but some hearts love confusion more than they love change. I cried over rumors, I answered every lie, till I learned the truth. Don't need to beg to stay alive. I know what I carry, I know what I survived. I know who I was when nobody was kind. I don't explain myself anymore. Say what you want, I close that door. I know the truth, I know my heart. I won't keep bleeding just to prove my scars. I don't explain myself anymore. I found my peace, I won't go to war. You can keep the story you made me for. I don't explain myself anymore. I used to soften my voice so I wouldn't make waves, let people cross my lines, then apologized for pain. I made myself smaller so they could feel tall, but I wasn't born to shrink just to make room for all. Now Now I walk in quiet, but it's not defeat. It's the sound of a woman who chose her own peace. I know what I gave, I know what it cost. I know I found myself where they thought I'd stay lost. I don't explain myself anymore. Say what you want, I close that door. I know the truth, I know my heart. I won't keep bleeding just to prove my scars. I don't explain myself anymore. I found my peace, I won't go to war. You can keep the story you made me for. I don't explain myself anymore. No more begging to be seen. No more proving I was clean. No more crying over words from people who don't know me. I don't owe my pain to anybody's courtroom. I don't owe my peace to people who destroyed rooms. I don't explain myself anymore. Say what you want, I close that door. I know the truth, I know my heart. I won't keep bleeding just to prove my scars. I don't explain myself anymore. I found my peace, I won't go to war. You can keep the story you made me for. I don't explain myself anymore. I know my heart, I know my name. I don't explain myself